that's it. We just want to win for our team.
My goodness! And Ievgen finishes it!
Yeah, we're just as good as men. We're better.
It's a huge point for the Bay Area.
Good chance that's the #1 highlight of the week.
What it is. It is Major League Table Tennis, day number 2 of week number 10. Coming to you live from Winter Haven, Florida, and the action is about to go down. Please welcome our officials for today's matchups, Wendy Pan and Jovana Knežević. And the first team to come in today, they are the number 4 team right now with 160 points. A warm welcome for the Chicago Wind. This is hilarious. They had my support, but they've supported Tim Wang instead. We'll talk about it later. And their challengers in the number 3 spot. They've been doing a lot for the East Coast in the East Division. Make some noise for the number 3 team, Princeton Revolution! Looking good, guys. You see what they're doing? Oh, it's so good. I love it. You guys look like a team in your jerseys and all. You guys must play for the league on a team. All right. So now that everybody is here, all the Warriors have entered the arena. It's time to shake some hands and slap some skins and let the games begin.
Saturday table tennis from Winter Haven, Florida. It's going to be a really important day of action in the inaugural MLTT season. We are at the Event Health Fieldhouse. It's the 5th meeting of the regular season between Chicago and Princeton. The previous 4 meetings have been split, 2 wins apiece. And you look at the standings, Princeton got a huge Golden Game victory yesterday. They are within 6 points of 2nd place. They started the season 1-6. They have won 8 of their last 10 matches overall. And Chicago, 28 points out of 2nd place for that last playoff spot, but they are not out of it. There is a huge sense of urgency here today. Welcome, everybody. Evan Leffler with Matt Hetherington. Matt, there's a real intensity in the arena today. We saw it last night in the Golden Game. Really? Princeton getting against Florida. The Revolution want to stay hot, but this is do or die time for Chicago as well.
This is probably the most important match of the weekend. In some senses, these teams need to elevate, and by playing against each other, that's their opportunity to really push ahead of the other team, or for Chicago to try and make up some ground here and maybe squeeze into the 3rd position after the end of tonight. So we'll see.
We will see. There's a ton of familiarity, obviously, between these 2 teams, and they've been really competitive with one another. I mean, you look at the full season, over the course of 4 matches, there are 84 total points available in the battles between these 2 teams. Princeton's got 43 points. Chicago's got 41 points. They've split the season series 2-2. Today will be the 3rd matchup we've seen of Sasha Hanin and Jishan Liang. All 6 games that they've played across 2 matches have been decided by 3 points or less. So it's going to be really tight. What else catches your eye on the schedule?
I think Pinto and Pryschepa, pretty interesting for me. I mean, Pinto's had such great results throughout the season. He's been a player that has constantly delivered for the Chicago Wind in singles. But if we look back at Florida a month ago, Ievgen Pryschepa was just phenomenal for the Princeton Revolution in the singles matches. So I think that could be a pretty tactical match to keep an eye out for. And then, of course, singles number 4, Kazaku, the power hitter of the Chicago Wind, taking on Wang Jinshin, who's really great at countering and placements. So lots of interesting style matchups here on display.
Well, yesterday, Chicago got off to a strong start behind Sasha Hanin. He got 2 wins in 3 games against Roman Lorenz, and it was a 3-1 lead for Chicago through the first 4 games. They only got 2 more points from there and a 16-5 loss. Princeton Revolution got off to a great start yesterday as well, courtesy of Jishan Liang, who swept Mark Duran 3 straight.
And on the other
Let's
side
see
of
who
the table,
can do it
top lady of the
today.
United States by world ranking. Put your hands together for Jishan
Chicago
Liang.
knows that over the next couple of days, opportunities against Princeton and Florida, they need to gain ground. Hanin serves to start.
0-1.
Jishan Liang was on fire yesterday against Mark Duran, showing off his massive forehand. Into the net, and it's 1 point apiece. The 6 games that these two have played, Matt, 2 have been 11-10, 3 have been 11-9, and the other was 11-8.
Yeah, I mean, they're both great contenders for their team. The team obviously feels a reliance on them to be out here opening the match.
1-3.
Sasha obviously had a great start yesterday, and especially in the absence of Damian Provost, who's usually kind of the anchor for the team. As you said, Jishan came out firing against Mark Duran.
2-3.
Three all through the opening 6 points.
Hanin looking pretty aggressive out there. Got Jishan playing a little more passive.
Oh, what a shot by Hanin.
Unreal.
Absorbing the power, bringing Jishan's aggressiveness to him, and then countering to the far side.
Always impressive when you come out of a forehand counter loop rally and then finish it with a backhand. So early sign that Hanin means business.
We talked about how all the games that these two have played have been close, but Jishan has won 4 of the 6. And that includes a 3-0 sweep the last time they met. Not all 3-0 sweeps are equal. But Jishan got the better of Hanin in November, 11-8, 11-9, 11-9.
Tightly contested first game here. Looks like Jishan's trying to slow things down a little bit and play out the rallies more instead of going for the really big shots early on. Does want to make sure that he's the player that takes the first initiative though. I think Sasha's really good at kind of compounding off that first shot into the rally.
Can you elaborate what you mean by that? What do you mean by compounding off the first shot?
I think if he gets the first ball into the rally with good pressure and he gets Jishan to block the first ball, he's been pretty effective at continuing the attack and kind of adding a little bit more pressure each ball at a time.
Got to his backhand. 7-6 lead for Sasha Hanin.
I think he's certainly been playing some better table tennis yesterday. Looking confident.
6-8.
Jishan over swinging on the big forehand.
And that's one he'll want back. And one that we're used to seeing him make.
Let. Nine, 7. Win.
Obviously, every point matters. Princeton begins the day 6 points out of a playoff spot. Chicago 28 points out of a playoff spot. There are 5 matches left in the regular season. So if you think about it from Chicago's perspective, you know, they basically need to run the table. You know, if they won each of their next 5 matches by an average of, you know, 6 points, 7 points, they won 14-7.
Also worth noting that 2 of those 5 matches will be between the Crocs and the Gold Rush. So today it will be interesting to see in the 7 p.m. match tonight how the Crocs fare against Carolina, whether they can pick up some points to put on the board.
And Florida got 2 wins over Carolina September and October, but since then Carolina's had Florida's number. Last couple weekends from 9-all to a 10-9 lead for Hanin. What do you know, another real tight game going down to the wire between these two. Liang trying to stay alive. Hanin takes game 1.
11-9. First game wins.
An impressive start for Sasha and an important point for Chicago.
Of the Chicago win.
Jishan went 3-0 yesterday against Mark Duran, but he experiences his first defeat of the weekend. Sasha Hanin gets the victory for the win.
Like the NBA, just table tennis. And way more established, financially lucrative. It's his first season. All these players are making money. That's why they fly in from overseas. I'll tell you more about that if you have any questions, curiosity. Don't be shy. I love curiosity. It drives learning. And I need to learn about curiosity. 3 timeouts per team. Each team can use 3 timeouts throughout their team matchup. But no more than 2. I told you about the first 5 matches being played. Every game is with 1 team point. So right now, Chicago is using 1-0. Now that first 15 points, if it's a 9-3 split after the first 5 matches, the goal.
Matt Hetherington, what do you like about Sasha Hanin's performance in that opening game?
I think the confidence that he's putting into his shots, we don't see any real hesitance from him. He's committing to all of his attacking shots, which is really important for the quality, the shot quality. And I think also just working really hard to create the opportunities to get into the rally first. I think we've seen him being the attacking player more in the rally. Certainly capitalizing off it too. Perfect example there, controlling the serve receive short, giving himself the best chance to get into the rally first.
Let.
Liang, who takes the first 2 points of the second game.
Is it a tactical adjustment that Jishan needed to make, or just better execution?
We'll find out soon, I guess.
We had Hanin off balance there. Quickly 3-0 here in game 2. It's been an interesting last 18 or so hours for me, Matt.
Has it? Why is that?
Well, from a fantasy perspective, our friend and colleague, Sean O'Neill,
He's riding the wave.
he is living his best life right now because he has a lead after the first day of competition just among the three of us. And that's never happened before. So it's for Sean, he's not really sure how to handle that success.
Yeah.
Other than
By the time he
texting everybody that knows me and having them talk trash directly to me.
I have enjoyed that part of it also. I will say, I would imagine by the time he's figured out how to handle the success, the tables will have probably turned.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Called hubris. But it was funny. I was walking into the arena earlier today, and Angela Guan, who's the nicest person in the world, who's never talked trash to anyone in her life, comes up to me and says, "Sean wants to know how's the fantasy going."
Gee, Sean, just switching up the pace here. Yeah, I did notice even Adam Bobrow on the mic, inquiring from afar.
Yep.
I like how it's been directed at you, though. Nobody's asking me really any questions.
Well, I don't know if Sean views you as a threat.
Oh.
5, 4.
He should.
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, back from fantasy to reality. We've got a match on our hands.
Well, the other thing
4,
is,
6.
It's not done.
gloating after one day of competition. I didn't choose a roster just for Friday. I chose my roster for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
You got to take your opportunities when they present themselves. That's all I can say.
It's like if the Kansas City Chiefs have a 10-7 lead after the first quarter tomorrow night, are they going to be celebrating? That would be foolish. Play the full 60 minutes, Sean O'Neill. All right, now back to the action. Jishan Leon ripping the forehand to take a 7-5 lead. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think you did quite a good job of covering that yourself.
I do credit Sean for remembering to submit his lineup this weekend.
Yeah.
That is really...
Yeah, that's important. It starts somewhere.
7, 6.
Notice how I'm saying all these things. I won't have to deal with Sean 2 weeks from now in Seattle. That'll be your responsibility and honor.
It's okay. I'm well practiced.
7.
So Sasha Henin ties things up here in game 2. 7 points each. Will certainly be a big result for the Chicago Wind if he can give them the early advantage.
7.
Matt, how familiar were you with Sasha Henin before he joined Major League Table Tennis?
Relatively familiar with the name, as a kind of, I guess, up-and-coming player. I think kind of in the years that there was a quite a strong team in Belarus, led by Vladimir Samsonov, who was a former world #1 player, and as those players were kind of phasing out, we started to hear his name a little bit more coming into the lineup. But yeah, I hadn't really seen too much of him playing before Major League Table Tennis.
He's a 6th round pick, so he wasn't one of the top picks, but he's been playing in one of the top spots for Chicago when he's been available throughout the season. And the 25-year-old Belarusian has been a solid player. Not that shot, though, and Jishan is 1 point away from evening this matchup at 1 game apiece.
Win.
Service error to finish that second game
You will
goes Jishan's way. Another one decided by 3 points or less. 8 straight games between these two that have all been decided by 11-10, 11-9, or 11-8 scores. See what happens in game 3. Early advantage on the line here in Winter Haven.
You excited about that, team owners? You're not, are you guys still deciding who you're rooting for? Okay, anyone here rooting for Princeton?
Haneen takes game 1, 11-9. Liang responds in game 2, 11-8. One more race to 11 between these two top players. We saw Jishan play doubles yesterday. He will only play singles in today's match. Ievgen Pryschepa gets the honor of playing doubles with Angela Guan, along with playing singles against Daniele Pinto. Big hitting from the backcourt. Jishan outclassed Haneen in that battle.
Taking that shot down the line, just misses the table. Certainly the right placement for it.
Now, over the course of the full season, Matt, about 50% of all games have been decided by 3 points or less. All 8 games between Haneen and Liang have been decided by 3 points or less, which is to say we are due for a lopsided result. And maybe it's coming right here with Jishan in front 4-zip.
You can interpret that stat either way. You could say that the trend's going to continue. That's like saying, that's like trying to, you know how they have on a roulette wheel the previous rounds?
You're saying that I'm embracing the gambler's fallacy right now?
Yeah, it's possible.
You might be right, which is why I don't actually gamble. Haneen emphatically gets on the board here in game 3.
Pinto and Pryschepa up next in singles number 2. Looking forward to that one. Big confidence here from Chicago Wind player. Good mental reset as the players switched ends. Jishan Liang with a maximum 5-point lead when the players swapped ends. Sasha's come back out firing. Jishan gets things moving again. You can see both players making a lot of effort to keep the ball short on the serve receive. This time it's Jishan with the big backhand.
Haneen trying to stay within striking distance. Still a steep hill to climb. Serve goes back to Liang. Jishan with a big fist pump.
the redrop. Again, both players trying to stay focused on keeping the ball short. They don't want their opponent to be the first one to attack against the long ball.
You know, Matt, one of the big trends that we saw yesterday was a player winning the first game, but losing games 2 and 3. We saw that 6 times in 10 team matches yesterday. And this would be number 7 out of 11. Jishan can finish us off.
I think it kind of goes to show that no one can afford to have a slow start here in this weekend of matches.
10-5. 10-5.
Jishan 1 point away from earning 2 points for Princeton. That'll do it. Jishan Liang with a strong comeback. And the biggest margin of victory in a game between Jishan and Sasha this year, 11-5, to finish off that 2-1 win in first singles today between Princeton and Chicago.
Can you introduce yourself real quick?
Well, the owners of the Princeton Revolution looking relaxed. It helps when their #1 singles player takes care of business like Jishan Liang just did. Jishan, congratulations. You lost game 1. How did you reset yourself to take care of business in games 2 and 3?
Yeah, actually in beginning, before the warm-up, I was not feeling really good. So I was like really out of match. So I tried to stay down there and try to relax. And first game, I even feel like I played good because I can try to focus. And after I get the game feeling of second game and third game, I can play my match.
And yesterday you talked a little bit about your serve game. I know in previous matches you'd started to experiment with some new serves, but yesterday you were saying, you know, sometimes you're changing things too much. This match you tended to keep things a little bit more simple, kind of backspin, plain, no spin. Is that something that you're trying to carry throughout this weekend?
Actually, no. Actually, today also I tried to serve side spin. I tried to use more backhand and not like only forehand, because the side spin serve and I can use after serve I can use forehand and backhand. So this is like my no choice. Yeah, I have to serve and I have to use more forehand, more aggressive. They get nervous, I get more opportunity.
Jishan is the only player in the league whose wife is also a player in the league. Here on February 10th, I got to ask, any big Valentine's Day plans coming up for you and Hong?
Yeah. Usually, if I stay at home, yes, but I'm going to go on Monday. We're going to World Championships. We're going to Korea, so I won't be at home. But, yeah, I don't know. No plan so far.
Well, you got 4 more days to think of something.
Okay.
Thanks for the time, Jishan. Well done.
Ievgen trying to get all the secrets spilled here on the live stream.
It's part of the job, Matt. Part of the job.
I would say there's an 80% chance that she's watching this right now as well.
80%, huh? Scouting for tomorrow, perhaps.
Maybe.
We will see Princeton versus Carolina tomorrow in the early match, 11 a.m. Eastern. Ievgen Pryschepa did not play yesterday, neither did Daniele Pinto. It's always surprising to see a Princeton lineup without Pryschepa or a Chicago lineup without Pinto, because these guys have been so successful when they have been in the lineup. But they are part of that CD contingent. Each of those guys gets to sit, or has to sit, 1 game, 1 match over the course of the weekend, and that catches the edge.
4-0.
Pryschepa points to recognize it, but it's a 4-0 lead here in game 1. Pryschepa, excuse me, was probably Princeton's MVP in January. I mean, he just had a phenomenal performance. He went 6-3 in singles, 12-6 in Golden Games. Arguably his best weekend overall. He also played a couple doubles matches, splitting 6 games in doubles with Angela. Meanwhile, Daniele Pinto just continues to run off wins. He's 19-8 overall for the season in singles, but he was 1-5 in his first weekend. So since then, he's gone 18-3.
I know he was injured a little bit not too long ago, but I think stylistically this could be a very difficult match for Pinto. I mean, if you're trying to play a full table forehand game like Pinto does, a player like Pryschepa is a tough person to come up against. He's going to handle the serve return well, and he's just going to keep the aggressive on at like a kind of a 70% pace. So you're not dealing with blocks, you're dealing with counters all the time. There's always a bit of added pace as he moves the ball around the table. So chasing that only with forehand most of the time is pretty challenging.
Worth mentioning, we talked a lot about the history between Henin and Liang. This is the first time that Pinto and Pryschepa have seen each other across the table in MLTT in a match. Pryschepa with all the answers there.
Yeah, you can just see him driving the ball into the backhand corner, keeping Pinto pinned on the backhand. He's always looking for that chance to step around, shifts his balance outside of the table, and then Pryschepa seizes the opportunity to get the ball down the line.
10-3.
This time Pinto well prepared for that ball. Gets it out even wider to Pryschepa's forehand.
Game point. 11-4 as Pryschepa takes game 1 in convincing fashion. Strong start to the weekend for the Ukrainian as Pryschepa got off to the great start and really never looked back. Princeton takes a 3-1 lead. Daniele Pinto, 22-5 in singles games over the course of his last 4 MLTT weekends. Coming into this one, found himself on the wrong side of the 11-4 score at the start. Caught the edge on the first ball in game 2. And there's a 2-0 lead for Daniele.
0-2.
Just making those forehands count. You can see him covering the table better with the backhand already.
1-2.
Beautiful angle there.
4-1.
He's going to have to play some wide angles, take a bit more risk. Pryschepa is so strong and balanced inside the table.
And obviously a lot of people are looking forward to championship weekend. Teams are trying to qualify. Logistics are being organized. Just announced this past week that championship weekend will be in Chicago, the last weekend in April. The semis will be on Saturday, April 27th. The championship will be on Sunday, April 28th. Pryschepa catching an edge there to help himself out. And there has been a little bit of conversation about should there be a format change at championship weekend in terms of determining the winner, because it's not going to be about necessarily the number of points you get accumulating over the season. It's just about winning, surviving, and advancing. And there is a scenario where someone could reach 11 points before the Golden Game. And should there be a change to the format to make sure you have the Golden Game included, or is that just part of where we are? And I think this is an undecided situation right now. Curious if you have any thoughts on what Major League Table Tennis should do.
Well, there's $100 grand on the line, so definitely something worth consideration, that's for sure. Yeah, I think everything has to count in some way. Whether the Golden Game is a kind of bonus point and the win overall is a point.
7-5.
That could potentially be meaningful, but
one suggestion that I've heard is the Golden Game will determine the winner no matter what, but you could have a 7-0 lead at the start of it or a 9-0 lead at the start of it, whereas they have capped that lead during the season.
All right, so yeah, remove the cap, that could work. Oh, huge rally between both players. Pinto having to put in the work to try and stay on the forehand, but Pryschepa looking as cool and calm as ever.
Celebrating the victory on that big exchange. Pryschepa has evened this game up, 7 points apiece.
Just playing corner to corner. That's the top edge of the racket. Pinto stops a little short on that counter.
Big couple of points here for Daniele Pinto on his serve, 8-all. Oh, Pryschepa handled every attack with authority.
Teammates looking pretty happy about that.
Quick counters. Ievgen Pryschepa comes back and takes game 2. Princeton now in front 4-1.
Pinto looking for that advantage there as he came in and tried to get the rally started with a forehand flick. Misses the end of the table.
throughout. Production has been incredible. This is game number 3 with Daniele Pinto.
Ievgen Pryschepa grew up in Kyiv, a 1-minute walk from his home to the table tennis club where he honed his skills. Started playing when he was 6 years old, over 30 years ago. Pryschepa's got a 2-0 lead in his singles match against Daniele Pinto.
0-1.
Game 2 is much closer than game 1, Matt, but ultimately the same result. Pryschepa in control here.
It's pretty clear throughout the first 2 games that Pryschepa's generally in control of the rallies. He's got a very high consistency rate. Great placement.
2-1.
Obviously the Florida Crocs play later tonight. They started today with a 6-point lead over Princeton. The second place position in the East.
3.
As of this exact moment, Princeton adding 4 points out of the first 5 chances. Only a 2-point gap.
Pinto punishes the long serve. Opportunity missed there by Pinto.
Meant to ask you this coming into today. Who would you view as the favorite between Florida and Princeton to make the playoffs right now? While thinking that Florida has a 6-point lead with 5 team matches left, but Princeton has won 4 out of 5 matchups against Florida, and Princeton has won 8 of their last 10 matchups overall, so clearly they are trending upward. Is that enough for you to think that they are the favorite right now in the East to join Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, 6 points, as you said. I mean, things are kind of closing in right now, even. It's going to depend a lot on how Florida performs tonight against Carolina, whether they can make an impact there. But I think Princeton definitely have momentum behind them. I think the Crocs have struggled to capture points. They've struggled to capture results. They certainly have the team members. They have the potential. They've shown that they can win before, but I think as the other teams have gotten used to strategizing and choosing the order and playing the golden game, the gap certainly closed a lot between a team that was at one point first in the league.
Oh. Pryschepa changes the angle. Still a large hill to climb here in game 3 against Daniele Pinto. Miss hit by Pryschepa, and Pinto up 9-3 now. We go into the doubles 4-2. There's obviously an important stretch ahead.
3-10.
Pinto with a handful of game points here in the third.
Only needs one.
Third game.
So Pinto gets 1 point for his team, and it'll be a 4-2 lead for Princeton as we head toward the doubles. Ievgen Pryschepa, like Jishan Leon before him, earns 2 points for the Revolution.
She's one of the top players
It could get really awkward in the husband-wife battle.
Well, Matthias Havassan has to be pleased. Ievgen Pryschepa needs to warm up for doubles, but you still wanted to have your celebratory victory interview. So give us your quick thoughts on that match, and then we'll let you go warm up for doubles, Ievgen.
I'm happy to win, as always. We had many beautiful rallies, actually, and I enjoyed the game this time. It was very interesting to play against him.
Take us inside your mind as you get ready to play doubles here. What are you thinking going against Sasha and Emily?
I don't know. Mixed doubles, it's always a mystery. I don't know, game to game. How they play against Chopper, how I play against their topspin, it's always different.
All right, do you want to wear the headset while you warm up and play, or should we let you go?
How you want.
We'll let you go.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll talk to you afterwards. Thanks, Ievgen.
Yeah, thanks.
I was surprised that Ievgen came over here to do the interview, considering he's got a doubles match to play. Although it looks like Angela and Emily are now warming up one-on-one, perhaps feeling each other out for the potential Golden Game matchup that we could see later. What do you think, Matt? I mean, it's kind of rare at this point to see a doubles matchup. That's never happened before, but this is one of them.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen Sasha and Emily play together one time previously against Princeton, and that was against DeSantillan and Guan. You know, this will be the second time that Pryschepa and Guan have played together against Chicago, but that was against Kazaku and Tan. So Emily and Angela are very familiar with one another, but they've had different partners throughout the season as both these teams have tried to find that right doubles dynamic.
The players as they shuffle in and out, and the umpires will stand because a serve must be from the right side of the table on the diagonal. In doubles and only doubles does that white line in the middle mean anything. This is the doubles match.
Sasha Hanine will serve first. He'll be serving to Ievgen Pryschepa.
First game. Green to serve, 0-0.
First point of the match, and Angela Guan gets in with the forehand loop.
She was hitting it in warm-ups. Why not hit it in the game?
I think she indicated yesterday her team has been trying to encourage her to play more variation and even to block more instead of chopping sometimes. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out. Pryschepa has certainly got a solid warm-up at playing countertop spin rallies in a singles match.
Man, if you had a singles match and then a doubles match right afterwards, would you like to have a little bit more of a break, or would you rather stay warm and go right into it?
Dive straight in. I think after you've played a higher number of quite intense matches, maybe you'd need a little bit more of a break, but I think in the kind of quick, intense format of MLTT, it's kind of ride the wave while you're still warm.
Scoreboard has it 4-3. Now it's 5-3. Clairvoyant score bug. It's 1 point ahead.
Oh! Go from net to edge. The universe balances out.
Yep.
Emily Tan launching the counter attack there.
big backhand from Pryschepa. Blistering. And a service error to give it right back. He's feeling good about himself after that backhand previously.
Can be more difficult to serve long, fast in doubles because it's something you don't do as often, but also serving that angle cross court can be tough as well.
5-8.
Miss hit there by Sasha Henin, and now Pryschepa and Guan 1 point away from taking game 1. And the Revolution are back up by 3 points again, where it counts. Princeton began today 6 games behind Florida for a playoff spot. They've got 5 points on the board in the first 7 games we've played. 11-5, game 1 win in doubles for the Revolution. Ievgen Pryschepa and Angela Guan as a doubles pair. With that win right there, are now 11-11 playing doubles together. No secret, the top 2 doubles teams in the East Division, Matt, have been pretty clearly Carolina and Florida, with Angles and Lynn for the Gold Rush and Borak and Ekholm. Those 2 top teams have been very steady in the doubles department, whereas Princeton and Chicago have had different combinations over the course of the season.
Pryschepa a little off with the backhand counter timing there. Gives Henin and Tan the first 2 points here.
Do you foresee Chicago have a different advantage here in game 2 with the order?
Yeah, I think it will definitely help them that Sasha can play a little bit more aggressively into Angela. I think Pryschepa handled Sasha's attacking game pretty well in the first game.
Big roar from Emily Tan. An error on the previous point. Did not change her mindset, coming out swinging. 4-1 lead for Chicago. Neckboard helps out the win right there, and Henin and Tan have a 5-1 lead. Matt, we are coming up upon an MLTT milestone that I'm sure you're not thinking about. But in the next singles match between Dan Liu and Koyo Kanemitsu, the first game they play will be the 1,000th game played in MLTT history, not including Golden Games, but in terms of singles and doubles games. This is number 998 right here. So plan accordingly. You've got a couple games to really prepare for how you're going to celebrate.
Right. Okay. It's always interesting when you sit here and kind of do things game by game. You don't realize how much, how many games you've actually sat through.
Can you believe that? We're almost at 1,000 games.
1,000 games is a lot.
1,000 games to 11. About 15% of them have been decided by one. About 75% of them have been decided by 5 points or less. Does that sound about right to you? Does that surprise you?
7-4.
So only
Evan, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to statistics, if it comes out of your mouth, then it's probably true. So.
Well, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm asking, you know, we have this data set now, about 1,000 games. You know, fewer than 25% of them have been 11-5. I mean, there's been a lot of highly competitive games. We get a timeout call. Let's listen in.
Other fun facts here. Emily Tan will be representing
most of the balls, because if you can't shoot that short after, I cannot attack.
at the World Championship.
But even then, you stay a little closer. You can also play over the table. It's also not so bad.
Yeah, but I wait always they attack and they never attack, and after I am out of.
Yeah, then you stay a little closer.
But best strategy is to provocate her for attack.
If it's not working, we'll find.
If she attack, I counter it.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Same all service is long. You can change, but service is long, and with spin balls, no spin, forehand. Maybe she will be good, then one time to middle, but normally to forehand.
Okay. Just right forward. Bump.
Remind me to tell you about Angela's equipment later after this game. Back from the timeout, it is.
So out of the timeout, Haneen and Tan have the 3-point lead. Pryschepa and Guan took game 1, 11-5.
7-4. Win to serve.
A roar and then an apology there from Tan. That was on the front edge of the white line. That wasn't really a true edge ball, it didn't look like. My eyes could have deceived me.
9-5.
Couple of big points there from Emily Tan, and no better time for them as well. Helps clear the Chicago Wind pair to a 4-point lead here towards the end of game 2.
9-6.
Game points. 11-6 for Chicago. So Haneen and Tan even up this doubles match at 1 game apiece. It's 5-3 in the team tally. Rubber game and doubles coming up.
Princeton Revolution versus Carolina Gold Rush. Thank you for reminding me. Angela Guan's equipment. I'm glad you brought it up. I would have forgotten. Angela Guan, the chopper out here. On the red side of her racket, you will see bumps. Raise your hand if you've never played a tournament before for table tennis. Never played a tournament. Only on this person in your 2 on season 3 for people are getting great and gold now. I like it. Those bumps that look like Legos, we call films in the United States. The longer they are, the more defensive they become. Which means if you try to attack with them,
Coach Eric Owens giving a little bit of last-minute advice to Sasha and Emily as they return to the table, coming off an 11-6 win in game number 2.
Watch which side of the racket Angela
The
plays.
order for game 3 goes back to the game 1 order until the leading team reaches 5 points, and then it goes to the game 2 order. So if you take into account Princeton had more success in game 1 than they did in game 2. See if they can recapture that at the start of game 3. They take the opening point.
Face palm moment there from Haneen.
We talked about how both these teams have changed up their duos throughout the year. When you watch these two pairs of doubles units, which of these two pairs moves better together as a pair?
Yeah, I kind of feel like I've been a reasonably vocal proponent for Pryschepa and Wang. I know when we've talked, you know, when she's played with Pryschepa as compared to playing with Jishan, my opinion is that these two move around each other a little bit better. Pryschepa is a bit more comfortable at that mid-distance, which really helps when you're playing with a chopper. But also, he's good. He doesn't really fall back as much. I feel like Jishan tends to fall back from the table behind Angela as she moves back. Pryschepa, he really holds that middle ground well. So it's definitely the pair that I favor a little bit more for the Princeton Revolution team.
Chicago with its first lead here in game 3.
Timeout, Revolution.
Interesting. It's the first time I can remember all season that we get a timeout after a let.
Great play. Very good.
I just heard something interesting.
So be prepared. One more point, and then everything is switching, right? And then in the last game, when you guys were putting everything to the forehand, it was really, really good. Very solid.
Yeah. And next, after you change to Angela also to forehand, so she can play from under speed.
Like their non-racket hand? Oh, well, what do they hold the ball with when they toss it?
Because you don't have time.
Boom! Feeling good.
Be patient. Be patient.
Nervous. I thought he had me. I was in the corner. Nobody puts Bob in the corner. That's a dirty thing before your time. Wow. Good times.
For this point, Emily, keep it simple to Angela. Keep it simple.
Come on, fight. Come on, come on, fight.
What do you make of that timeout call coming between points like all other timeouts, but after a let, which is rare?
Sometimes, sometimes you just need to refocus after something like that happens. I mean, every point counts here, and when there's a little bit of luck involved, it can shake up some psychology, I guess.
So Haneen and Tan, after falling behind in this third game, get to 5 first. They switch sides. The order will change. Let's see if the wind can keep the momentum rolling. The order's back to what it was in game 2 when Haneen and Tan prevailed 11-6.
Chicago wind duo really stepping things up here.
Chicago can finish this off. This will be the 8th time in 13 matches so far this weekend that either a singles player or a doubles team lost the first game, came back to win games 2 and 3. Which I don't have numbers on, I apologize, but I can tell you anecdotally, feels a little unusual.
good combinations from Tan and Helene. Emily's looking pretty confident against the defensive side from Angela. Helene just trying to control the table more. And they set up game point here in game 3.
Impressive turnaround from Sasha Henin and Emily Tan.
4-10.
Serve goes back to Guan. They have a lot of work to do. And that is how it will end. 11-4 in game 3 for Sasha Henin and Emily Tan. And it's the win that take 2 out of 3 in the doubles to bring this team tally a little bit tighter. Princeton leads 5-4, the 1,000th game in MLTT history coming up next. All right, we're joined by Emily Tan after Chicago's 2-1 win. Emily, you guys lost the first game by a pretty wide margin. What changed in games 2 and 3 for you and Sasha?
I think we were just being more aggressive, and then we were more prepared. We knew what to do after the second round. After that first round, it really hit us, but we're like, oh, it's okay. We can't do worse than last time. So we're just trying to keep calm and then just relax to play through it.
And you've played doubles against Angela quite a lot. Obviously, playing against defensive players is not that common, especially in doubles. How do you deal with the rhythm changes, especially, you know, between order switches on each end and things like that when you're playing a match like this?
I know, like personally, I know I'm not really good with these defenders and stuff, so I do practice with a defender. I have a coach. And then I think if I can't tell the spin, I just push it. But if it's high, I would attack. But instead of like just smashing, I have to add some spin. Because like usually when I smash, it just goes under. I'm spinning it. I can't smash it anymore. And then my teammates and my coach are just like, oh, you can just push it on the table, and then Sasha got her back.
Emily, I understand that Dan Liu has been a coach of yours for a long time, growing up in the Bay Area. What are some of the things that Dan has taught you that have helped you in your table tennis career?
He just tells me to like, don't get temper in your brain. Just like calm down, relax, and play your games. Don't get mad really easily. And then he's a pretty good coach when he teaches me my flip and some like those small balls, like drop short and push long and stuff like that.
Let's turn it around. What would you coach him to do in the singles match that he's got coming up here?
Good luck, Dan. Good luck, Dan. I believe in you.
Well said. Thanks for joining us, Emily. We'll see you in the Golden Game.
Thank you.
All righty. A piece of Major League Table Tennis history, not including the 66 Golden Games that we've seen. This is the 1,000th game in the young history of Major League Table Tennis. We're just getting started. Dan Liu and Koyo Kanemitsu will do the honors. And Koyo lost the first game he played yesterday, but came back to take 2 out of 3 in his matchup against Florida's Benjamin Brossier. Dan Liu went 0-3, 3 tight games. 2 were 11-9, the other was 11-8, but he lost them all to Kai Zhang. So what do you think are the keys for each player here with the team tally being 5-4? It's really tight.
I think there's a lot that they could learn actually from watching each other's matches from yesterday. I think Koyo against Brossier struggled with the slower pace. A lot of balls that kind of went really deep on the table on the baseline but were quite slow. So that could definitely help Dan a little bit if he'd watch that. But anytime you watch your opponent and you watch their matches, especially if they're pretty recent, you can usually take a lot away. So I know a lot of the players tend to watch their opposition teams playing their matches. For Koyo, it's about getting a strong start. It's something that he wasn't able to do yesterday. But I think he will invite the kind of quicker backhand-to-backhand pace of Dan Liu a bit more.
Yeah, the post-game interview with Koyo yesterday was certainly interesting, where you sort of challenged him as if to say, why didn't you win 3-0? You should have won 3-0.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely feel like he's one of the stronger players in the league. Just kind of plagued by inconsistency.
A good glimpse of those skills right there. Third ball attack with power.
Explosive forehands from Koyo. Dan Liu puts the ball straight into the elbow. When you have such a small amount of time to react to different shots or to prepare for different shots, it can be really hard to get the pinpoint accuracy you need.
Heavy hitting from both players there. I thought it was a great return by Dan Liu with a deep serve, and yet Koyo turns the point around and seizes control.
Seven.
7-3 lead here. Koyo Kanemitsu looks pretty locked in.
Got to be careful. Again, Dan slowing down the pace in the rally can be pretty useful for him. Koyo, once he gets into the rally, tends to play earlier in the bounce to pick up more speed.
So why would you say he wants to, you're saying Dan wants to slow it down? Why?
Because a lot of the time when you play earlier in the bounce, you're kind of borrowing power. So you'll notice when Koyo plays earlier timing, his forehand ball's a lot faster than it is, for example, in this ball, when the ball's slow and a little bit higher. When he has to generate his own power, can force a few more errors from him. And again, as I said, with Brossier yesterday, the slow deep ball caused Koyo a lot of problems, particularly in the first game.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's interesting.
Right now, Koyo Kanemitsu 10-4. At least 6 game points here.
It'll only take one. And Kanemitsu rolls 11-4. There it was, the 1,000th game in MLTT history. We're going to work on the second 1,000 as Liu and Kanemitsu stay on the table with Princeton up 6-4 here in Winter Haven, Florida. fans in attendance. This might be their first time seeing table tennis at this level.
Don't worry, if you're new
It
to
was cool
table tennis,
to
raise your
kind
hand.
of witness the
Newer to table
eureka
tennis.
realizations of just how fast the
Okay,
ball
we'll talk
moves,
in a
how
bit. We'll talk in a
quick
bit.
the
Back for game
reactions
number
and
2,
the
Dan
instincts
Liu,
are
Coyle,
for these
come on in
professional
to
players.
Make some noise.
See the Chicago owners here in the house. Again, they've started to show up regularly for the team. And Dan Liu wins this battle of the backhands to open game 2. Gets a little help from the net.
Sure did. Good start for Dan Liu here in game 2.
Great execution from Koyo.
That forehand got by Liu really quick.
Yeah, it's there again, that early timing, kind of taking the ball half bounce. It's a little risky when it comes to trajectories over the net, but you can pick up a lot of acceleration, take away a lot of time from your opponent as well.
I mean, one thing that you and I have not talked about, perhaps because this is just natural to you and maybe you don't think about it as much as I do, but like if a top player went against a basement player, as you call him, the basement player just would be totally flummoxed by the spin of the ball on every single shot.
Yeah.
And yet these players handle that spin so consistently it feels routine. How do they do that?
I mean, when you talk about the kind of the career journey of a high-level or professional table tennis player, the number of hours that go into I mean, the repetition involved in table tennis training is crazy. I mean, you're literally hitting thousands of repetitions of the same ball to try and get used to every different variation you could come across. And it's kind of a cognitive thing where as you learn how racket angles work and what signs to look for when you're playing, your brain actually makes adjustments for you, which is what helps you when you're playing at such high speeds to kind of play automatically instead of having to think, okay, you know, this ball's side spin half long, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? As soon as your eyes see what's happening, it kind of just becomes automatic, and you're talking thousands of hours of training to get to that point.
So that's the mental side of it, which you're saying, I mean, they're obviously intertwined. But is the way you handle spin by being more aggressive and attacking the ball, not letting it come to you? Obviously, it must depend on the type of spin.
It depends, yeah, it depends on the type of spin. I think the main difference is that a recreational or a developing player doesn't have the skill set to recognize or read what spins on the ball. I mean, if you watched a player of this caliber going up against a rec player, they would struggle with serve receive.
When you play with your racket, you switch to middle and then corner, not corner, you know, zack, 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 okay? And then corner. Yeah? And when you play hard, you play forehand, okay? It's easier from the technique, you know, you do this. Think about the rubber nose a little bit sticky, so you go with more this, okay? Rest is fine, it's good. Yeah.
Almost all players here are not born in the United States.
Right. Bump.
Okay, I'll see you later. So, in the United States, we have this thing. Really, really good. And then they have to get serious about making a living. and go to college and focus on a job.
Kanamitsu trails by 1 midway through game 2.
Get really, really good and not quit.
At this exact
I'll tell
moment,
you more
Princeton
about that in a bit.
has the
There's a
exact
lot to
same
that,
number of
actually.
points
Look forward to the answer and more
in the East
action right
Division
here. 1
standings
point
as the
between
Florida
them.
Crocs.
0-1, 5-6.
Both teams have 188 total points. They're only 51 points behind Carolina for first place.
6-6.
Don't think that either is going to catch the gold rush, but they don't need to catch the gold rush.
They need to catch the silver rush right now.
They need to
big
finish
fight
in
for the second
place. Number 1 in the East will play number 2 in the West. Number 1 in the West will play number 2 in the East in the semis, and the winners will square off Sunday, April 28th in Chicago. If the Wind are going to be competing that weekend, they need to turn on their top gear quickly.
7-all.
7-all here in game 2. Of course, Florida has not played yet today. They'll take on Carolina later tonight.
Koyo picking up the ball a little bit late. Such a hard shot.
Let's.
And Dan Liu with the forehand counter. That's a pretty strong message at this stage of game 2. It's ready to go toe-to-toe with Koyo on the forehand side. Big opportunity there for Dan. He caught Koyo a little bit out of position down that forehand line. Not able to capitalize.
You just gave the wrong score to the, yeah, it's 10-8.
10-8. Stop. No. Opposite.
Assistant umpire
10.
confused with the flip card over there. Liu's got the 10-8 lead.
Yes. No. 10. Yes. Thank you.
There we go. And Dan Liu earns a huge point for Chicago there. Setting up another rubber game in this third singles match. 11-8 for Dan Liu. He was swept 0-3 yesterday. Lost the first game today, but Liu on the board for the win. Chicago's back within 1 at 6-5.
And they can play the Olympics.
What'd you like about Dan
anywhere
Liu's
outside of
second
China.
game there, Matt?
So, the United States is working in a league like this
just
on our home soil.
committing to his shots
is
more.
improving athletes and giving
Definitely
them a
stepped
reason
up
to
on the
stay with
forehand
the sport.
side.
This time is
Some
called
great
Koyo
placement
Kanamitsu,
shifts.
who also speaks Chinese and Japanese and English, comes back to the
I
table.
think he
to
did a
battle
good job
in the
of kind of
decider
being
with
one
Dan
step
Liu.
ahead. He dealt with Koyo's pace and moved ahead of the placements.
0-0.
Played some great forehand counters. Great switches down the line.
Koyo serves to start game 3.
1-0.
When you're playing, do you always want to serve first?
Me personally, yes. A lot of people think about who would serve last. They'll kind of go forward in their heads, thinking like, you know, who's gonna, how do I make sure that I'm serving first if it's, you know, 10-10 in the 5th game or 10-10 in the 7th, but, you know, why would you plan to be 10-10 in the 7th? I want to win 4-0.
3-1 lead for Kanamitsu. Mentioned the season series between these two teams was dead even. They've met 4 times previously. Each team has won 2 matches against the other. Kanamitsu makes it a 4-1 lead here in game 3. Both of Princeton's wins, Matt, were 15-6. Chicago won 15-6 and 14-7. So not seen a golden game comeback in any of the battles between Princeton and Chicago. And we have not seen a golden game come back in a while. Not since Chicago did it against Carolina the first day of the Broward County event in early January. After yesterday, 13 consecutive golden games have been won by the team that was leading going into it.
2-4.
Good stuff from Koyo Kanamitsu. Hazaku and Wang in the 4th singles spot still to come. First meeting in MLTT for Alex and Jinshin in a singles match.
Not a great way to start this second half for Dan Liu. Missed long serve.
Yeah, that stings. Nice handling of that deep serve again. Yikes.
3-7.
Couple net balls in that point, and then Liu contorted his body in a way that hurt me watching it. This one's getting away from Liu here in the 3rd game. When these two players met in November, all 3 games were decided by 3 points or less. Koyo took 2 out of 3. Games have not been as tight this time around, but it's looking like the same overall result, with Kanamitsu 1 point away from claiming 2 more points for the Revolution.
4-10.
Edge ball winner. Tough way for Dan Liu to have to walk away from the table. But Kanamitsu had a comfortable lead anyway. Takes game 1 and game 3 by the same 11-4 score. And it's a 7-5 lead for Princeton. Everything's still hanging in the balance, though, with Kazaku and Wang coming up. We'll chat with Koyo Kanemitsu in just a moment. As promised, Koyo Kanemitsu has put the headset on. Koyo, for the second straight day, you get 2 points for your team. Today, you dropped that middle game. What changed in game 3 as you clearly got back on track and won convincingly?
Yeah, because I start very well at the first game. In the second game, I want to be more aggressive. But some returns I get irregular. Then I was a little bit large, and my forehand performance was many goes net under the net. So during the game, sometimes I don't know what to do. But in last game, yeah, I try to get back.
And playing against someone like Dan, obviously yesterday you played with Benjamin, and some of his balls were a little bit slow and uncomfortable for you. Did you feel a little bit better against Dan and his speed with the ball?
No, actually this time what he plays, he tried to catch every ball back, so and not easy if I miss a lot myself. So yeah, it was. Yeah.
Koyo, there's one more singles match and then the Golden Game. What will you do between now and the start of the Golden Game to stay ready?
I think
Red Bull.
Yeah, take rest and cheer my teammate. Yeah.
Keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Congrats on the win today.
Yeah.
So Koyo gets 2 out of 3, perhaps going to get an energy drink.
Just like a Red Bull.
Kazaku versus Wang. Kazaku needs a 3-0 sweep to give Chicago the lead going into the Golden Game. Jinshin Wang, with just 1 point out of the 3, would give his team the lead. If somehow Wang could sweep, he would give his team the maximum 5-point lead, which has been a better than 90% proposition this year. You take a 5-0 lead going into the Golden Game, but this is the first matchup in Major League Table Tennis between Kazaku and Wang. What do you think will be the big factors stylistically, Matt?
There's definitely more power on the offense coming from Kazaku. He tends to take a lot more risk, bigger swings off both sides. Sometimes it takes him a little while to get going with those shots. Whereas Wang Jinshin tends to play more of a spin control game, stays up and controls really well on the backhand. Great in the counter rallies on the forehand, back at the mid and far distance. So it really, I think if things open up in the rally more, Kazaku will find some advantage there. But if things stay close to the table, I would say Wang Jinshin might have a little bit of an advantage.
Big forehand winner for Kazaku to take the opening point. Yesterday it was Kazaku against Enzo Angles. He fell behind 2-0, but salvaged the 3rd game against Angles. Meanwhile, Wang against Daniel Gorak. So these 2 players yesterday faced the top 2 players in the draft, respectively. These are tough asks.
Yeah.
The first day of a weekend.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially knowing how important this weekend is for both teams. I mean, a lot of people might think that next weekend being the last weekend for the East Division would be kind of the pinnacle, but these teams have to perform well this weekend to give themselves a good chance of finishing out the season in those top 2 positions. So if anything, this weekend is probably even more important for both the Wind and the Revolution and the Crocs. But business as usual for the Gold Rush.
I did ask the question earlier today of what would be the tiebreaker. Let's say Princeton and Florida finished with the exact same number of points. And I'm not sure there's a clear answer to that. So Matt, I think you and I don't know if we get to decide, but we can come up with what we think the tiebreaker should be. And there's a few different ways to do it. You could look at the series history. You know, right now, Princeton has won 4 of the 5 matches against Florida, so that would be an advantage for the Revolution. And that would be one way to do it. I don't know if this is logistically possible with travel and timing and schedules, but you know, let's say that there was a tie for second place at the end of the event in New Jersey a month from now. I'd say golden game, take the table, 0-0, winner of the golden. Would that be intense or what?
That would be pretty amazing. For one team at least. Maybe not so much for the losing team.
It would be epic theater. Lawrenceville, New Jersey is not that far from Broadway.
And there's a part of me that wants that to happen now just to see.
7-5 lead for Kazaku. I mean, you just think about all the points, all the games, all the net balls and the edge balls, and you know, how crazy would it be if there is a tiebreaker scenario needed? But you look at the East right now, I mean, at this exact moment, there's only 1 point separating Princeton and Florida. You look at the top of the West Division, there's only 1 point separating Texas and the Bay Area Blasters. And that whole division is crazy tight.
Yeah.
11 points separating first and fourth place. Texas has a 1 point lead over the Blasters. The Spinners are only 2 points behind the Blasters. So you and Sean are going to have fun out in Everett, Washington in a couple of weeks. I will not spend my time heckling you from afar. I promise you that.
Why not? It's part of the fun.
I'll enjoy your coverage.
You can see the West Division standings on screen there in the bottom right. Very tightly contested race.
And it's not the record that counts, it's the point total. In Texas 7 and 9, technically a game behind, but they've got 1 more point. Kazaku has created the first game point here in this 4th singles match. Net ball helps him out.
Hasn't had too much luck with the net balls this weekend.
The golden game yesterday against Kai Jiang, there was a moment to remember. It's already gone viral. MLTT Instagram. Kazaku gets to celebrate with an emphatic winner there. 11-8 in game 1 over Jinshin Wang. And this match continues to stay super tight. It's now Princeton 7, Chicago 6. 2 more points up for grabs, and the lead heading into the golden game, hanging in the balance.
Whoa, but you're sitting so close, I feel like you guys are automatically friends. I like it. So you guys, next time you meet someone says, how do you guys know these guys? You can say, oh, Major League Table Tennis. We're just fans of MLTT. So what's your story? Let's start with you. You'd be very excited. How did you find out about today? Whoa, question, where do you play table tennis from? Tampa, Florida. Luiso, Patrick, Salvador, and Princeton, JV, and
So the Romanian Alex Kazaku, 35 years old, won the national championship in the team event for Romania many times over the course of his career. And he's got a really strong record throughout this season. Now 2-2 in singles games this weekend. He's 25 and 18 in singles games for the season. He's been a consistent contributor for Chicago. The issue for Chicago has not been their singles success. They have held their own.
Very true.
Match in, match out. That is an authoritative winner.
Yeah, he's good at those.
Look at this. Sees it, drills it.
Yeah, there's just so much power in the contact from Alex Kazaku. Both wings. The amount of direct power he builds up into the ball is pretty impressive when it hits the table, of course, first and foremost. Question for any player coming up against him is what can they do to neutralize some of that power, to get Kazaku backed off the table, to get him off balance. Anything that disrupts that weight transfer or that build-up of power into his shots. Maybe you get him to play a little bit later, you get him to play a little bit further away from his body, shorter strokes. All these kinds of things can help neutralize that power.
3, 4.
Great angle.
4, 4.
Kazaku looking for that inside-out forehand.
One of his defensive returns, he caught the edge right here. Jinshin Wang able to handle it though. And look, Jinshin Wang has had his moments this season against some of the best players in the league. Just when you think he's overmatched, he figures out a way to turn the match on you. Just like that.
4, 7.
Textbook stuff from Jinshin Wang.
Former US Open men's singles champion.
Beat a fairly notable Romanian table tennis player in that final as well.
7, 5.
Back in 2015.
Were you there?
I was at the event, but I wasn't at the final. I actually left and flew to China. I was in China for just over a month after playing that US Open. So yeah, wasn't there for the final, but certainly saw some of the matches on the road.
You competed in that event?
I tried to.
Do you remember who eliminated you from the competition?
Yes.
Anyone we know?
No. I'll just say it was a person that was meant to eliminate me from the competition. So.
Sounds like you're over it.
Yeah.
9 years ago.
Sadly 2015 is not as close on the rearview mirror calendar as one might like to think it is.
Did you play Flint this morning?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Look, I'm just happy to be here, okay? Doing my commentary. It's fun. It's
Sounds like it didn't go very well, Matt Hetherington.
It's fine for me. I mean, it's not something I'm gonna... Whether or not I win or lose against Flint's not an achievement of the year for me, so... Yeah, I do enjoy coming out here early in the morning before the matches and playing with Flint and Andre and Roger from the Revolution team and Ryan from the operations and logistics. It can be difficult to sit here and watch these other people all playing table tennis and not find some time to get in a few hits yourself. So
9-all here in game 2. Kazaku's got the serve. Jinshin Wang
10.
has the game point.
Certainly been a player in a little bit more control. Kazaku's having to take more risk to win points.
11-9 for Wang to set up a rubber game and to create an 8-6 lead for Princeton. Revolution will have the lead going into the Golden Game, and we know how important that has been. When 6 more points will be hanging in the balance, Princeton trying to cement its spot in second place and in playoff position in the East Division. So an impressive job by Jinshin Wang to bounce back from the 11-8 loss in game 1. He takes game 2, 11-9. And Wang and Kazaku sit at 1 game apiece. 1 more game to play before the Golden Game. It'll either be a 1-0 lead for Princeton at the start or a 3-0 lead. Either way, the Revolution will start ahead. We've discussed, every point matters right now. Princeton 2 points ahead of the Crocs in the East standings. They could be as many as 9 points ahead of the Crocs. Really putting the pressure on Florida as they take the table against Carolina tonight. If Jinshin Wang could win this and Princeton can hold serve in the Golden Game.
0-2.
Lead for Kazaku, however, to start game 3.
This is the second time this weekend that he's been in the position of kind of keeping the wind alive and keeping them afloat leading into the Golden Game.
We've seen Jinshin Wang do that throughout the season, where he just reaches over the table and flicks it past you effortlessly. Kazaku trying to bring the energy. All of his teammates who are playing in this match are on the practice tables getting warmed up for the Golden Game. So Kazaku looking back to his bench after scoring the point and seeing only Eric Owens and Tim Wang, who's inactive. They're the practice courts.
Alongside the
members of the Gold Rush and the Crocs also getting loose. Busy times over at Practice Central.
2-5.
It's
always
staying loose.
Need to see the coaches look unbelievably dialed in on these matches.
5-3.
Wang just getting a bit caught up with the slow ball. Within 2, but he'll have to do a little bit more if he wants to come out on top in this game.
5-6. Chicago timeout.
Timeout taken by Chicago. Kazaku jumped out 3-0 in this game, but Jin Wang has made it a battle. Let's listen in to Eric Owens.
Breathe, breathe. Take it easy, take it easy. Catch your breath. He's pushing you back a little bit now, right? So hold your ground. He's trying to push you back, and he's got you on your heels, so stay a little bit more forward, and then attack his middle. Yeah, exactly. You have to attack first.
Shaking his head. No players cannot call their own timeouts in a team match. Only coaches.
Yeah.
Hashtag learning. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. If I'm not learning, I'm not getting
but it's also successful when you drop it, because he's not doing anything special after that. So you can attack it, but you can also drop it. And then whenever you're dropping it and he's flicking it, you can start attacking right away. You have it. But just remember, when you attack, he's coming back over the table. So you're gonna have to attack, attack. So get your feet ready, get ready to move.
Other fun fact, I'm gonna nervously look over. No, I think I got this one. Everybody
you got this. You got this.
In a team event. Other than that, normally you can only have one coach unless it's a mixed associations pairing. Two players speaking different languages
Well,
from different
we heard from one bench. We don't know what happened on the other one.
Here we
so,
go.
Always difficult to say what's going to happen coming back from a timeout, but certainly some pretty valid points from Eric Owens as usual. Really important for Kazaku to stay up close to the table. As illustrated there, having confidence to play short and just being ready if Jinshin comes in and flicks the ball. And Kazaku was ready, but just missed that opportunity to hit the ball down the line.
Kazaku in front 7-6. Chicago can get this game. It'll be 8-7 going into the Golden game. You start to think about what will the coaches do in terms of the order. We have seen Eric Owens mix it up a little bit at times to Chicago's benefit. Heard Matthias Habasson talking yesterday about, he still regrets certain mistakes he's made earlier in the season, so trying to avoid those again. Obviously, Princeton has won 8 of their last 10 team matches overall, 8 of their last 10 Golden games along with it.
There's that example of Wang Jinshin pressing the pressure into his backhand, backing Kazaku off the table. And he'll pick up a freebie there. No spin serve. Kazaku trying to keep the ball short.
Princeton into the lead here in game 3 as Jinshin Wang has fought his way back.
Wang just sticking on his backhand side there. Big chance for a forehand counter there, but he came all the way across to try and block the ball down the line. Good placement from Kazaku.
Players go to the towels for the last time in this match. Either 2 or 3 points left. Miss hit on the return by Kazaku. Good flummoxing serve from Wang. Princeton owners looking on. Game point. And it'll be 10-10. One more point before the Golden game, Matt, to determine whether it'll be a 1-0 lead or a 3-0 lead.
It's going to be a Golden point, too.
First Golden point of this team match to close out the regulation portion. Kazaku serving at 10-all.
Take a deep breath, everyone.
Yes, indeed. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. Jinshin Wang
what
with
a finish.
nasty backhand winner.
Full commitment from Wang Jinshin to get in over the table with that backhand flick. That was a devastating finish from the Princeton Revolution player.
9-6 lead. It'll be a 3-0 lead for the Revolution at the start of the Golden Game. Can Princeton keep the streak going where the team ahead gets it done when it counts?
2015 U.S. Open champion Jinshin Wang looking strong.
So ahead of the Golden Game, we'll take a look back at the match that was. Jishan Liang got off to a slow start. Alexander Henin was looking pretty good out there. Jishan sealed 2 games to get the Princeton Revolution started off in this match. It's a perfect follow-up from Ievgen Pryschepa. Looking pretty comfortable in his matchup with Pinto. Pinto fighting against the odds to take the 3rd game. The doubles was certainly an interesting shake-up and a welcome one for the Chicago Wind as they took 2 games out of the 3 with the combination of Sasha Henin and Emily Tan. And then Dan Liu capturing that middle game amongst 2 fairly dominant games from Koyo Kanemitsu. And that all led into this final showdown with Wang Jinshin coming out on top in the only golden point situation we saw in these first 5 individual matches. And we're going to head now into the Golden Game.
Let's determine the order. Here's the commish.
Thank you, Adam. The Princeton Revolution are leading 9-6. You'll be starting with a 3-point edge. Because we're at 3 points, the first players will only play 1 point. Coach, since you're behind, you get to pick your first player.
Dan Liu.
Dan Liu is your number 1.
Angela.
Angela Guan is your number 1. Your number 2.
Jishan Liang.
Jishan Yang is your number 2. Coach?
Emily.
Emily Tan is your 2, and your 3?
Sasha.
Sasha Kanan is your 3. Coach?
Jinshin Wang.
Jinshin Wang is your 3, and your 4?
Koyo.
Koyo Kanemitsu is your 4.
Daniele.
Daniele Pinto is your 4, making your 5. Alex Kazaku making your 5. Ievgen Pryschepa. Good luck, coaches.
I'll be honest, Matt, that did not
Fascinating.
go the way I expected it to go.
I think this has kind of become a little characteristic of Eric Owens to really try and shake things up during the Golden Game. But yeah, some very interesting matchups
So the first 2 players
both
in
sides
Dan
there.
Liu of Chicago Wind and Angela Guan of Princeton Revolution
Well, it's a
will play
3-0
1
lead for
point.
Princeton.
And
Guan
then
will
they'll
play 1
switch.
point against
Every
Dan
4
Liu.
points, a new player will come in.
And then
So,
Princeton
it'll
should
be
have
the
a
first
pretty
team
significant
to win
advantage with
21
Jishan
points,
Liang
not
going
win
against
by
Emily
2. In
Tan.
2020, it
Of course,
would be
you
the
never know.
ultimate golden points. Winner takes all. Whoever wins this Golden Game will win.
There are
the
certainly
team
some
matchup. This
pretty
is
even
the
matchups in there. I think
Golden
Sasha
Game.
and Wang Jinshin, Pinto and Koyo. And then, of course, Pryschepa and Kazaku, the orders shifted up significantly going into this Golden Game.
Liu earns the 1 point for Chicago.
Handhold definitely a huge advantage against defensive players with the more open racket face.
Liang serving to Tan. What would you advise Emily to do here?
Go for broke. Get in, get your attacking shots in, and then you've got to try and capitalize. She's got to play either really aggressive in the start of the point or really, really tight to the net. Definitely don't want to see any big forehands from Jishan. That's a sign of a need for some tactical change. It's a great play. It's a great play by Emily Tan. The placement a little bit too much into the middle of the backhand of Jishan, but the short ball and the attack definitely the way to go.
Jishan figures out a way to take the point from deep in the court to complete the golden sweep.
Big smile from Princeton Revolution team there.
That was a battle.
Emily Tan got off to a great start in that point.
Highlights on social media for MLTT.
4-point sweep for Jishan Liang. Gives Princeton a 7-1 lead.
Ball in the court there.
MLTT squad all over it. 7 serving 1 the professor. Inside the
Princeton and Revolution look like they're going from strength to strength here.
Oh my goodness, around the net post.
No. Wang Jinshen may have just earned himself the top spot on this weekend's top 10.
That was remarkable.
Psychologically tough to come back from.
7 straight points for Princeton.
And he does.
Sasha takes 1.
With the second point, doubling Chicago wins bank account.
Daniele Pinto comes up to the table. He's going to be taking on Koyo Kanemitsu.
With the Italian stallion on the receive, Daniele Pinto.
Chicago needs good stuff from Pinto and Kazaku. Good start for the win. Long way to go.
Pinto, of course, has had a good success against Koyo in singles before.
Two straight for Daniele, 3 straight for Chicago.
4 serving 10.
Koyo responds.
Koyo Kanemitsu is there to receive it strong. 4 serving 11.
Pinto earns 3 out of 4 for Chicago. That's the start of the comeback, perhaps. Just the seed you need to cultivate.
It's a light breeze.
Yes, it is.
A light breeze for see if the wind picks up, literally and metaphorically.
Kazaku versus Pryschepa. Ievgen takes the table with a 6-point lead.
Reverse pendulum handled well. The top spin receive aggressive. Kazaku
Reminder
takes
what
it.
this match
11
means,
serving
and
6.
certainly for Chicago, they desperately need these 6 points to reinsert themselves into the conversation. Give themselves a chance with 4 matches left. If Princeton can close this out, it'd be a 15-6 win. They would then be 9 points ahead of Florida in the East standings in the race for second place. Kazaku with a big winner for Chicago. Florida, Carolina coming up about 55 minutes from now here in Winter Haven. Kazaku, 3 out of 4 over Pryschepa. And now Dan Liu against Angela Guan. And look, there's a roadmap here. If Dan Liu can roll, we could be tied 12-12. Frankly, that's what Chicago needs. What Angela can do against Liu. Smashes that one long.
With the defensive side of the racket, but it carries long. 12 serving 9.
Missed by Liu.
That's a big point. That is a big point. And you can't afford to give away shots like that.
Liu's taken 2 of the first 3. This is a huge one here to get back within 2. Emily Tan and Jishan Liang are up next. We know Liang has a considerable advantage in that matchup. Leguan, ladies and gentlemen.
What a combo from typically more traditional defender. Gets the long pip swipe ball in and then follows up with a big forehand. The teammates will be absolutely thrilled with that.
Massive couple of points for Guan against Liu. Liang sends it long, so Tan is on the board here in the Golden Game for Chicago.
It's a very, very different landscape coming into the second round of matchups. The score pressure has gone up considerably for Liang Qishan. That was a net serve, so just in case you weren't nervous enough already as the gap closes.
Oh, face, in the face. This is 2024, anything goes. 11 serving 15. Timeout called by the coach,
taken.
as it must be.
With Princeton up 15-11, let's listen in.
What's your plan on the serve?
Wow. On the way, I should have backhand. When I was backhand, I'm scared it goes half long.
On the forehand serve?
On the backhand serve.
The
forehand serve is
you're last people I would have expected. I thought your parents would be here, but you're already parents. Congratulations.
I don't mind the backhand serve. I don't mind it.
We'll talk about it later.
So,
parents,
can you get it
low
short?
risk of injury.
Then don't do it, because I don't want it to go half long, because he's going to start attacking. Go with your forehand. Okay, but what he's going to do, he's just going to drop it.
I'm going to try to flip it.
Yes, exactly. So be aggressive. When you flip it, he's going to slow spin it. You've got to be aggressive on that. Okay? Come on, come on.
Very logical and direct advice there from Eric Owens. Doesn't want any chances of serve going long. Serve's got to go short. If she gets in and flicks, she has to capitalize off that as quickly as possible.
She had a chance.
She definitely had a chance.
Emily Tan with the second serve out of the timeout.
One more point for these two. And it's into the net, so Tan takes 2 of the 4 to earn the split. She's pumped.
She's out of there.
Now Haneen versus Wang.
Locks in the point and she's gone from the table. She wants off out of the pressure zone.
You feel like Haneen needs at least 3 out of 4 here.
Oh yeah.
Chicago a chance.
Yep.
And gets the net ball from Wang.
Sasha bringing it in like a tornado for the win. 16 serving 13.
Pressure is mounting in the Princeton Revolution.
Awkward ball, clever play from Jin Wang, changing the pace and playing it deep
Princeton
to the back.
trying to make
And Sasha
9
with 2
wins
serves,
in their last
13,
11
17.
golden games after they started the season 1-6.
Idea clever,
Wide
but the serve
from
was
Wang
well
at
played.
17-14.
17, Sasha's
One more
second
point for
serve.
these two, and then it'll be Pinto and Koyo. Haneen does get 3 out of 4. It's a 2-point game. Pinto versus Koyo with the pressure mounting.
Tough spot. Princeton Revolution have got to ask themselves, is Koyo the man that they want here at this stage of the Golden Game? Can he handle the pressure and raise the bar? There's the answer for the first point.
Half long to the forehand, all about that baseline swing.
Chicago can get there. It would be Dan Liu versus Angela Guan for the ultimate golden point at 20 apiece.
Yeah, Pinto's got to dig deep here.
But this one needs a little bit more room.
Back within 2. Daniele's got the serve on his paddle. Timeout Princeton. Let Daniele think about it a little bit.
Now you just wait for this long. When he serve your backhand, much downspin probably. Yeah? So it's just rotation. Yeah. Okay, and relax. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Just wait for the service. A little bit more back. Wait for the service. And then you play.
Koyo needs to try and get things together here. He's got Pryschepa backing him up.
It's fun. You know, to our left, we got members of the Carolina Gold Rush. To our right, we got members of the Florida Crocs. Everybody on their feet.
I'm not going to reference Kenny Rogers.
Miss hit by Pinto, and Koyo puts Princeton back up by 3.
With his second serve at 16-19 now.
Pinto's got to have it here. Got to have it. Went with a deep serve, but Kanamitsu was ready for it, and he takes Princeton to the brink of victory.
With a magic
comes Ievgen Pryschepa
sees the future and plays it to set up 4 golden game points. Ievgen Pryschepa with the serve at 20-16 to Alex
in a position where
Kazaku.
he must clean sweep here.
Pryschepa knows he just needs one more point.
Let
Serve. The Princeton Revolution do it again.
A very ironic barrier placement from one of the Princeton owners, Andre.
A good margin here to make their case for second place.
Gently moves the barrier aside.
Well, he expected it all along as the Revolution take it 21-16. Matthias Habason's team has been the story of the league here in the second half of the season, from 1-6 to now 9 wins in their last 11 matches. And for the moment, they are 9 points ahead of the Florida Crocs in the race for the last playoff spot. That puts a ton of pressure on Florida going up against the best team in the league later on this evening. 21-16, the final score of that golden game.
The #1 draft pick from the #1 team this season will be battling tonight. And they are a tough team to beat, but they're playing against your very own Florida Crocs. So make sure you're in your seats well before 7 o'clock.
They drew it up.
From our merch booth
Matthias
Habason
Habason gets a victorious conversation yet again. Matthias, congratulations. Chicago certainly made it interesting. It was an intense battle the whole way. I'll say once again, it's a Revolution match that did not have a sweep. There's something about Princeton that creates these close games. I don't know what you think, but your team gets it done. At this moment, you're 9 points ahead of Florida in the race for second place. How does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, now after the match, it feels amazing. During the match, it's a little bit different. Yeah. Okay, I mean, it's very difficult in table tennis when the level is not so big different that you make a clear 3-0 sweep. I mean, that's clear. It was a tough match again. It was, I think, very important that Xinjin won his last set to get this 3 points lead in the golden game. And yeah, I think today I also did a good job with the lineup in the golden game. I think this was a little bit the key, that we were leading immediately, like very high. Yeah, in the end it was closer than it should be. No, but the others, of course, they played a little bit more relaxed and with a little bit less pressure. But yeah, I'm very happy to go with a win here away.
And of course, one player to talk about, and we've just seen the great point from her there, was Angela. Have you been working with her more and trying to encourage her to, attack and to sometimes block and to use the pips to play a little bit more aggressively? Has that been kind of an important part of your... you're already smiling, so I know you don't want to give too much away. But, we asked her as well, and she's kind of indicated that the teammates and the coach are, trying to encourage her to be a little bit more assertive. Is that something that's, important for you in the development of your players?
I think it's obvious. If you follow her development during this season, of course she attacked more, and from the first weekend on, I tried to speak to her, to give her some advices. about her game, and this was for sure one of it. I mean, I'm not her daily coach or something. I'm only coaching her at the matches, and the daily work she makes by her own or with her own coaches. And yeah, but I'm really happy with her performance in the last few weekends. She's playing better and better, and one very important thing is that in the crucial situations she got the balls to really make big shots. Yeah, very good.
Matthias, the Revolution are now 9-2 in their last 11 matches after you started 1-6. We've asked this question a bunch, but how did you guys turn this season around? Was there a turning point, either strategically or mentality-wise, that has enabled you to have so much success after you really struggled at the start of the season?
Yes, I mean, first of all, the players I drafted in the beginning of the season, I think they weren't really in a match rhythm, especially Xinjin, for example. I mean, at the draft or at the first combine, I saw him and I saw what kind of opportunities he has if he plays his A game. But on the other hand, I also knew that he was out of match rhythm. He didn't play for a long time, important matches and stuff. And these kind of things, yeah, we could handle and manage with talking, with a little bit many boards, with training, you know. And yeah, all of them, they are now more in match rhythm, and especially they get used to this system. And I think if I'm realistic, I mean, I think my players are just a little bit better than most of the others, and yeah, if they can put her A game into this system, then okay, we have an advantage in the most of the matches. Yeah.
What will you be thinking heading into tomorrow against Carolina?
Yeah, I'm thinking we need every point we can catch. Yeah, this is for sure. Yeah, but in the end, I'm really also not thinking so much about the points or these things. I just try to convince my team to have fun at the matches, to fight for every ball, and in the end, the result we will see.
Well said. We'll let you go. Congratulations on another win today.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Matthias Habasson, ladies and gentlemen, as the Revolution get the job done again today. Ironically, they're getting ready to play Carolina tomorrow, but they're big Gold Rush fans tonight, hoping Carolina can, beat Florida 21-0 and help them maintain their lead, which they're currently ahead. Jinshin Wang has put the headset on. Jinshin, congratulations. A very exciting singles match with Alex Kazaku.
Thank you.
You were down 1-0. You were down in game 3. What were you most proud of in your performance in that singles match to take 2 out of 3?
I think Kazaku is a good player. But when I down the point, he leading, I'm trying to hit harder and just try and come back. We need more points for my team.
And when you think about style matchup-wise, obviously as the league, you're getting more players from overseas with more experience and some players that have a lot of power, like Kazaku as well. How do you feel in terms of confidence about your playing style? You have obviously great control and great placement. How does that factor in for you when you're kind of strategizing against your opponents as well?
I think he doesn't like my spin, so I try to use spin and short ball control him. I don't want to go every ball long. He'd kill me.
Yeah.
For you, I mean, we were just talking to Matthias about how you kind of had to work your way into your top form over the course of the season. I know it's been a crazy year for you. The birth of your son, you lost your mother. Condolences on that. We missed you last month in Broward County. But
yes.
For you, to see the turnaround that this team has made from obviously the struggles the first couple months to where you are now in potential playoff position, what do you attribute that turnaround to?
I think just keep focused. My team always support me. Yeah, we just keep focused, and life still need going forward. Right.
Keeping it simple. Well said. Thoughts about facing Carolina tomorrow, Jinshin?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. We'll
Thank
let you go. Congratulations on the win today. Thank you.
Thank you.
They're ready, Matt. We'll see if that's true, but they were ready today, and now the East Division standings. It's hard to imagine. Princeton at one point was 1-6, and now they're 10-8, and basically putting a lot of pressure on Florida right now, with the Crocs falling short in the Golden Game yesterday against the Revolution. And Princeton's 15-6 win to start this Saturday doubleheader. We've had a change in the playoff race in the
You're gonna
East.
say a change in the wind. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the standings, especially the singles and the Golden Game wins, there have been some quantum shifts in the Princeton Revolution team that have elevated them now into this second position. Obviously, there's some pressure on the Florida Crocs. They're playing here at home again for the second month in a row, and they need to raise the bar. If they want to stay in contention for the playoffs, then there's some work to be done for the Florida Crocs tonight and tomorrow.
Well, right now it feels pretty clear Carolina's in first place. Feels pretty clear that Chicago's in fourth place. But the race for second is very much up in the air. Princeton helps itself out. Another victory for the Revolution as they get strong performances in all 4 singles matches. The Revolution take 2 out of 3. Liang over Hanin, Pryschepa over Pinto, Kanemitsu over Liu, and then Wang over Kazaku. And that built a 9-6 lead heading into the Golden Game, and a 15-6 win as the Revolution become the 14th straight team entering the Golden Game with a lead to get the job done. Final score 15-6. Princeton is into second place for the moment. Florida Crocs versus the Carolina Gold Rush. They've been the top 2 teams in the East all season long, but now the pressure's on Florida to try to stay that way. Look forward to having you with us about 37 minutes from now for the Gold Rush and the Crocs. But for now, on behalf of our entire crew, from Matt Hetherington, Evan Leffler saying so long from Winter Haven, Florida, the Revolution win again.